Today I want to speak about a concept that we've all encountered at some point, the element of surprise. Specifically, I want to talk about what happens after we've had no contact with someone, whether it's a break from communication, a personal distance, or just time for reflection, and how the next move in such a situation can change everything. After a period of no contact, one of the most powerful and surprising moves you can make is offering forgiveness. It's a move that is often unexpected, not just by the person who may have wronged you, but also by yourself. In many cases, the instinct after a break in communication is to either hold a grudge or to keep your distance, allowing the silence to persist indefinitely. However, offering forgiveness after a period of no contact has the potential to transform not only the relationship, but also your own emotional state. Forgiveness is a complex concept. It is not simply about saying the words "I forgive you" or letting someone off the hook for their actions. It is about releasing the weight of anger, resentment, or hurt that has been carried during the time of no contact. When we hold on to negative emotions, we are often unknowingly tethered to the past, repeating cycles of pain or frustration that prevent us from moving forward. Offering forgiveness, therefore, is as much for your own healing as it is for the other person's redemption. It allows you to free yourself from the emotional burden and offers the possibility of fresh beginnings, not just in your relationship with that person, but also in how you view yourself. When there has been no contact, the time away allows for reflection. It gives you the chance to gain perspective on the situation without the emotional charge that might have initially clouded your judgment. With time and distance, you may come to understand that while the other person's actions hurt you, their intentions may have been misguided, or they may have acted out of their own fears or insecurities. In such instances, forgiveness becomes a way to move past the conflict without needing to hold on to the negative feelings that once seemed justified. It is not about excusing the behavior, but rather choosing to let go of the anger or resentment that can otherwise linger and prevent growth. Offering forgiveness is also an act of emotional maturity. It requires vulnerability and courage to acknowledge that you have been hurt, yet you are choosing to rise above it. It is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of strength, of understanding that your emotional well-being is not defined by what others have done to you. By offering forgiveness, you are taking control of your own narrative, no longer allowing the past to define your present. You are telling the person and yourself that the situation does not have to have the last word in your life. You are choosing peace over bitterness, healing over pain. However, this move comes with its own set of challenges. Forgiveness does not mean you instantly forget the hurt or that everything will return to the way it was before the conflict. It takes time for trust to be rebuilt. And offering forgiveness does not erase the need for boundaries to be established and respected moving forward. The decision to forgive should not be rushed, nor should it be seen as a one-size-fits-all solution. It must come from a place of genuine healing, not as an attempt to quickly move past a situation or appease the other person. It requires introspection and the willingness to confront and process your own emotions fully. The beauty of offering forgiveness after no contact lies in its ability to defy expectations. The person on the receiving end of your forgiveness will likely not expect it, especially if they are still anticipating a confrontation, an apology, or perhaps no interaction at all. This move shifts the power dynamic as it places you in control of the situation. It communicates that you are no longer bound by past hurt, but are willing to open the door to new possibilities. It may even inspire the other person to reflect on their own actions and the potential for change in the relationship. In conclusion, offering forgiveness after no contact is a move that holds immense power. It allows you to reclaim your emotional peace and move forward with strength and clarity. It is a gesture that not only transforms the relationship, but also frees you from the past, empowering you to take control of your own narrative. Though it may be challenging, it is ultimately a path to healing and personal growth, opening the door to new beginnings, new understandings, and most importantly, a newfound sense of freedom. When there has been a period of no contact, one of the most unexpected and empowering moves you can make is setting boundaries and prioritizing your own well-being. It's easy to slip into patterns of accommodating others' needs at the expense of your own, especially in relationships or situations where there has been history. However, the move to prioritize yourself after a break in communication can be transformative, not just for the relationship, but for your own personal growth and mental health. The importance of setting boundaries cannot be overstated. Boundaries are not walls, nor are they meant to isolate or sever relationships. Rather, they serve as guidelines for how you want to be treated, ensuring that your values, emotional needs, and sense of self-respect are respected. After no contact, the natural inclination might be to fall back into old habits, where you may have once tolerated behaviors or actions that no longer align with your current sense of self. Setting clear boundaries allows you to draw a line between what is acceptable and what is not, providing clarity and structure for your emotional space. This move of setting boundaries can take many forms. It could mean deciding how much time and energy you're willing to invest in a relationship that may have been emotionally draining. It could be about not tolerating disrespectful behavior or no longer allowing someone to take advantage of your kindness. It may even extend to reevaluating whether this relationship is worth continuing at all. The boundaries you set will depend on the situation, but the key is that they come from a place of self-awareness and self-respect. You are no longer willing to compromise your mental and emotional health for the sake of appeasing someone else's expectations. Prioritizing your well-being after no contact also involves the practice of self-care. When you've been in a toxic or draining relationship, whether personal or professional, it's easy to lose sight of your own needs. Taking time for yourself, whether it's focusing on your health, pursuing a passion, or simply enjoying moments of solitude, becomes essential for your healing. The period of no contact provides you with the space to reconnect with yourself, allowing you to reflect on what you truly want and need from relationships moving forward. This practice of self-care isn't selfish. It's a necessary investment in your emotional resilience and overall well-being. One of the most profound aspects of setting boundaries and prioritizing yourself is the shift in power dynamics it creates. Often, when we don't set boundaries, we unintentionally give away our power to others. We allow their actions, decisions, and moods to dictate our own emotional state. However, by taking control of your own needs and establishing boundaries, you are reclaiming your power. This is a move that not only protects your peace, but also shows others that you are no longer willing to be a passive participant in a relationship. It communicates that you are in control of your own life and your emotional well-being is paramount. The surprising part of this move is that it can be unsettling to others. People who are accustomed to having access to your time, energy, and attention may be caught off guard by your decision to prioritize yourself. They may try to test your boundaries or manipulate the situation to regain the upper hand. However, it's crucial to stand firm in your decision. The more you reinforce your boundaries, the clearer it becomes that you value yourself and are unwilling to sacrifice your peace for anyone or anything. This move is not without its challenges, especially if you've struggled with asserting yourself in the past. It can be uncomfortable at first to establish boundaries, particularly if you fear conflict or rejection. However, the discomfort is temporary, and the benefits far outweigh the initial unease. The more you practice setting and maintaining boundaries, the more natural it becomes, and the more you realize how empowering it is to protect your own emotional health. Setting boundaries and prioritizing your well-being after no contact is a powerful and transformative move. It allows you to reclaim control over your life and your emotions, offering the space for healing and growth. By drawing clear lines about what is acceptable and what is not, you are demonstrating self-respect and emotional strength. Though it may initially be met with resistance or surprise from others, this move is essential for creating healthier, more balanced relationships in the future. Ultimately, prioritizing your own well-being is not only a necessary step for your personal growth, but also an act of self-love that will guide you toward a more fulfilling and peaceful life. After a period of no contact, one of the most transformative moves you can make is to rebuild the connection, but on new terms. When time apart has given you the space to reflect on the relationship, you may realize that a return to the status quo is not only undesirable, but also unproductive. Instead of merely picking up where things left off, it's important to take a step back and consciously decide how you want the relationship to evolve. Rebuilding the connection on new terms means acknowledging the past, recognizing areas that need change, and committing to a healthier, more balanced dynamic moving forward. The first step in rebuilding a connection on new terms is assessing the relationship as a whole. During the period of no contact, you've had the chance to evaluate how the relationship has impacted your life both positively and negatively. It's easy to fall into the trap of nostalgia, remembering only the good moments, but it's essential to take an honest look at the flaws and challenges that may have contributed to the time apart. This is not about assigning blame, but about understanding the factors that led to the need for space in the first place. Did communication break down? Were boundaries violated? Were emotional needs not being met? By asking these questions, you create a clearer picture of the relationship's dynamics and gain a sense of where things went wrong. Once you've reflected on the relationship's history, the next step is to redefine your expectations for it. This is where the true shift occurs, moving from simply returning to the old ways to consciously deciding what you want from the relationship moving forward. Rebuilding the connection on new terms means letting go of past patterns and behaviors that no longer serve either party. For example, if there were unhealthy communication patterns, it's crucial to establish new ways of talking to each other, ways that foster understanding, respect, and trust. If boundaries were consistently crossed, it's important to communicate clearly about what is and isn't acceptable. By openly discussing what you both need from the relationship and setting mutual expectations, you create a fresh foundation built on respect, honesty, and mutual understanding. Rebuilding a connection on new terms also means recognizing and accepting change, both within yourself and the other person. The time apart has likely allowed both of you to grow and evolve in different ways. It's important to acknowledge that neither of you is the same person you were when the relationship first began or when things fell apart. Accepting this change is crucial, as it sets the stage for a relationship that can adapt and grow together rather than remain stagnant in the past. This may involve embracing new ways of interacting, adjusting to each other's evolving needs, and being open to the possibility that the relationship may take on a different shape than it had before. The willingness to accept change and growth fosters a healthier, more dynamic connection. One of the most surprising aspects of rebuilding a relationship on new terms is that it can actually lead to a deeper and more meaningful connection. By setting aside old expectations and allowing space for both people to redefine their roles in each other's lives, you create room for a more authentic and balanced relationship. This process involves vulnerability and patience. It requires open, honest conversations about feelings, needs, and desires, but it also opens the door for mutual respect and understanding, as both individuals are given the opportunity to communicate their boundaries, desires, and fears without the weight of old patterns getting in the way. However, it's essential to recognize that rebuilding a connection on new terms isn't always easy. It requires a willingness to be vulnerable, to confront the past without allowing it to dominate the present, and to be patient as new patterns and behaviors are established. There may be moments of discomfort, especially if old wounds need to be healed or if trust needs to be rebuilt. But despite the challenges, this move ultimately offers the potential for a healthier, more fulfilling connection, one that is not trapped in the past, but is instead guided by a mutual commitment to growth and improvement. In conclusion, rebuilding a connection on new terms after no contact is a powerful and transformative move. It allows both parties to break free from the constraints of old patterns and expectations, creating the space for a more authentic and balanced relationship. By acknowledging the past, redefining expectations, and embracing change, you can build a foundation that supports mutual respect, growth, and understanding. While the process may be challenging, the result is a relationship that has the potential to be stronger, deeper, and more meaningful than it was before. Rebuilding on new terms is not about returning to what was, but about creating something better, something that reflects who you both are now and who you can become together. After a period of no contact, one of the most unexpected moves you can make is to take the lead in reinitiating communication, but this time on your own terms. The natural inclination when there's been silence is to wait for the other person to reach out first, or to wait for some kind of resolution before moving forward. However, the power of taking the first step, after a period of distance, lies in reclaiming control of the situation and ensuring that you are not merely reacting to someone else's actions. Initiating contact after no contact can be a bold, empowering move, one that shifts the dynamic and sets the stage for a more intentional, balanced interaction. The decision to take the lead in communication after a period of silence is an act of self-empowerment. Often we find ourselves in situations where we feel passive, as if we're waiting for others to dictate the terms of a relationship. But when we decide to reach out first, we are stepping into a position of agency. Instead of reacting to circumstances or waiting for the other person to take charge, we actively shape the next phase of the interaction. This shift in control is powerful, as it communicates that you are no longer passively accepting what has been handed to you. You are now the one who decides how the relationship will unfold moving forward. Taking the lead in communication also signals a shift in mindset. It shows that you are ready to engage, but on your own terms. It's important to acknowledge that this doesn't mean simply picking up where things left off or jumping back into old patterns. Instead, reaching out first after no contact is an opportunity to redefine the relationship and set new expectations. Whether it's simply reconnecting for a conversation, addressing unresolved issues, or expressing your feelings, the act of initiating contact demonstrates that you are willing to engage authentically and with intention. You are not just continuing a relationship as it was, but actively choosing to bring it into the present in a healthier, more purposeful way. This move can also be a way of asserting your needs. When you initiate contact after a break, you set the tone for how the interaction will go. If your previous communications were marked by misunderstandings or unmet needs, you have the opportunity to clearly express what you need moving forward. It may be that you need clearer communication, more respect for boundaries, or simply more time to process your feelings. Taking the first step opens the door for you to voice these needs in a way that is constructive and direct, rather than waiting for the other person to guess or assume what you require. By initiating the conversation, you are putting yourself in the position to ensure that the relationship moves in the direction that serves you best, rather than just being at the mercy of whatever the other person may choose. Taking the lead in communication can also help you manage expectations. Often, after a period of no contact, the uncertainty about the relationship can create anxiety, leaving both parties wondering what happens next. By reaching out first, you eliminate that uncertainty and take charge of the situation. This proactive approach allows you to control the flow of interaction and ensure that it aligns with your intentions. It also gives the other person the opportunity to respond openly without the lingering ambiguity that often accompanies a period of silence. It's an act that creates clarity and provides both parties with a chance to recalibrate. However, taking the first step in communication after no contact also requires emotional maturity and courage. It's not without risks, as there is always the possibility that the other person may not respond in the way you hope. They might not be ready to engage, or they may not have the same intentions or desires as you. But even in the face of this uncertainty, taking the lead in communication remains a powerful choice. It shows that you are not waiting for external validation or permission to move forward. You are asserting your own right to engage, to express, and to connect in a way that is meaningful to you. Taking the lead in communication after no contact is a bold, transformative move. It places you in a position of control, allowing you to redefine the relationship on your terms and ensure that your needs are met. By initiating contact, you take the first step toward creating a healthier, more intentional connection that reflects who you are now, rather than who you were in the past. While there are no guarantees in how the other person will respond, the act of reaching out demonstrates emotional maturity, self-confidence, and a willingness to move forward. It is an empowering decision, one that transforms the dynamic and paves the way for more meaningful, authentic interactions moving forward. After a period of no contact, one of the most powerful moves you can make is simply to move on and let go. This is often the last thing people expect, especially when there is an unresolved relationship or situation hanging in the balance. Many times, when we experience a break in communication, there is an underlying hope or expectation that things will eventually return to how they were, or that time apart will lead to some form of reconciliation or resolution. However, the most surprising and transformative move can often be choosing to release the situation entirely, recognizing that the relationship or connection is no longer serving you or your well-being. Letting go is not an easy decision, but it is one that allows for growth, healing, and the opportunity to move forward. The act of letting go after no contact is often about realizing that holding on to something that no longer aligns with your values or needs only hinders your emotional health and growth. Whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a professional connection, or even a toxic situation, there comes a point when the best choice is to step away. Letting go involves acknowledging that the relationship or situation has run its course, and that, for the sake of your own peace and well-being, it's time to release it. This doesn't necessarily mean forgetting or erasing the person from your life completely, but it does mean recognizing that you cannot continue to invest time, energy, or emotion in something that brings more harm than benefit. One of the reasons why moving on and letting go is so unexpected is that it challenges the notion of holding on to hope or trying to fix something that is beyond repair. After a period of no contact, there may be a sense of waiting for the other person to make the first move, to apologize, or to offer an explanation for the distance. However, this mindset often keeps us stuck in a cycle of unresolved emotions and unfulfilled expectations. The surprising move is to accept that you are not responsible for the other person's actions or decisions, and that your happiness should not be dependent on someone else's behavior. Letting go means freeing yourself from the expectation that the relationship will be fixed or that things will go back to the way they were. Instead, it's about recognizing that it's time to take control of your own emotional state and move forward in a way that prioritizes your personal well-being. Letting go also requires emotional maturity and strength. It's easy to hold on to something familiar, even if it's not healthy, because the idea of change or loss can feel daunting. The fear of the unknown often keeps us trapped in situations that no longer serve us. However, when you choose to let go, you are embracing the unknown and stepping into a future where you are free to create new possibilities for yourself. Moving on doesn't necessarily mean that you're closing the door forever, but it does mean that you're making a conscious decision to move forward with your life, rather than remaining stuck in a past that no longer fits who you are. One of the most powerful aspects of letting go is the freedom it brings. When we hold on to unresolved relationships or situations, we often carry emotional baggage that weighs us down. Letting go is like lifting that burden off your shoulders and allowing yourself to breathe freely again. It is not about giving up or surrendering, but about acknowledging that you are worthy of peace and that you have the strength to move on from what no longer serves you. By letting go, you open up the space for new experiences, relationships, and growth that align with your true desires and values. It is a bold and liberating choice that affirms your commitment to yourself. Letting go, however, is not always an immediate process. It's important to recognize that healing and moving on take time, and it's okay to experience a range of emotions during this process. It's natural to feel sadness, frustration, or even doubt as you navigate this transition. But what is key is that you are choosing to move forward rather than allowing yourself to remain anchored in the past. The surprising part of this move is that, while it may initially feel painful or uncertain, it ultimately leads to a sense of empowerment and peace as you release what is no longer serving you. In conclusion, moving on and letting go after no contact is a powerful and transformative decision. It allows you to reclaim your emotional freedom and create the space necessary for new opportunities and growth. While this move may be unexpected by others and challenging for you personally, it is ultimately one of the healthiest choices you can make for your emotional well-being. Letting go is not about abandonment or defeat. It is about recognizing that your happiness is in your own hands and that sometimes the most surprising move is the one that sets you free. By releasing what no longer serves you, you are opening yourself up to a future filled with possibility, peace, and the opportunity for new, fulfilling experiences. After a period of no contact, one of the most unexpected and profound moves you can make is to focus on personal growth and self-improvement. Often, when relationships or situations face disruption, we tend to focus on the external, what went wrong, who is to blame, or how the other person is behaving. However, the true power in such moments comes from shifting the focus inward and using the time apart as an opportunity to invest in yourself. This move may be the last thing anyone expects, but it is, without a doubt, one of the most impactful and rewarding choices you can make. Personal growth is a journey, and the period of no contact provides the perfect environment for introspection. When you step back from the chaos or emotional turbulence of a relationship, you have the space to reflect on who you are, what you need, and what you want moving forward. Often, in the midst of interaction with others, we lose sight of our own identity and desires. The noise of external influences can drown out our own voices. Taking time to focus on personal growth allows you to reconnect with your core self, understand your values more deeply, and recognize areas where you can improve. This could involve evaluating the choices you've made, understanding patterns in your behavior, or addressing personal challenges that have been holding you back. One of the key benefits of focusing on self-improvement during a period of no contact is that it provides you with the tools to become a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Emotional intelligence, communication skills, and self-awareness are all aspects of personal development that can be honed during this time. By taking the initiative to work on yourself, you begin to break free from old habits, toxic patterns, and limiting beliefs. This process might involve reading, engaging in new hobbies, working on physical fitness, or seeking therapy or counseling to address past wounds. Whatever form it takes, the important thing is that you are actively investing in your own well-being and growth. The surprising part of focusing on personal growth after no contact is the shift in perspective it brings. As you develop a deeper understanding of yourself, you begin to realize that your happiness does not depend on the approval, validation, or presence of another person. You become less reliant on external factors to feel fulfilled and more focused on nurturing your own sense of purpose and contentment. This shift in mindset can be incredibly liberating as it frees you from the need to seek validation or approval from others. You start to realize that you have the power to create the life you want on your own terms, independent of external influences or relationships. In addition to fostering greater independence, focusing on personal growth can also enhance your ability to engage in healthier, more fulfilling relationships in the future. When you take the time to improve yourself, you are better equipped to establish boundaries, communicate effectively, and approach relationships with a stronger sense of self. The work you do on yourself during this time of no contact enables you to enter future connections with more clarity, emotional resilience, and wisdom. You become less likely to repeat past mistakes and more capable of creating relationships that align with your values and aspirations. Another unexpected benefit of focusing on self-improvement is the sense of empowerment it brings. When we experience a period of no contact, it is easy to feel powerless or stuck. But by shifting your focus inward and prioritizing your own growth, you take control of the situation. You become the architect of your own future, no longer waiting for someone else to change or for the circumstances to shift. Instead, you are taking charge of your own journey, setting goals and working toward a better version of yourself. This empowerment can extend beyond the relationship in question, influencing all areas of your life, including your career, personal goals, and overall sense of fulfillment. The move to focus on personal growth also allows you to shift from a place of reacting to a place of responding. Rather than being consumed by the past or by lingering questions about the relationship, you begin to actively create your own path. You can use the energy that might have been spent obsessing over the past to fuel your own development. Whether it's learning new skills, setting new personal goals, or even just taking better care of yourself physically and mentally, the focus on self-improvement helps you reclaim your agency and move forward with greater confidence and purpose. In focusing on personal growth and self-improvement after a period of no contact is a transformative and empowering move. It allows you to reclaim your sense of self, heal from past experiences, and move forward in a healthier, more balanced way. By investing in your own growth, you shift the focus from external factors to your internal well-being, freeing yourself from the need for validation or approval from others. The results are far-reaching, not only improving your relationship with yourself, but also enhancing your ability to create healthier, more fulfilling relationships in the future. Ultimately, focusing on personal growth after no contact is a move that brings profound benefits, helping you become the best version of yourself while giving you the strength and clarity to navigate the world with confidence and resilience. After a period of no contact, one of the most unexpected yet powerful moves you can make is to embrace forgiveness and let go of resentment. Often after emotional turmoil or a break in communication, there are lingering feelings of hurt, betrayal, or disappointment. These emotions can weigh heavily, clouding judgment and preventing you from moving forward in a healthy way. However, the surprising move after no contact is choosing to forgive, not necessarily for the other person, but for yourself. By releasing resentment and choosing forgiveness, you free yourself from the emotional burden that holds you back, allowing you to step into a future with greater peace, clarity, and emotional freedom. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a gift for the person who hurt us, but in reality, it is a gift we give ourselves. Holding on to grudges or resentment only serves to prolong the pain and keep us emotionally tethered to the past. When we choose to forgive, we are making a conscious decision to release the negative emotions that have been festering within us. This is not about excusing the other person's behavior or forgetting the hurt. Rather, it is about taking the power away from the pain and choosing to no longer let it dictate our emotions or actions. By forgiving, you take back control of your own heart and mind, allowing yourself to heal and move forward. The act of embracing forgiveness after no contact is a transformative one, because it allows you to break free from the cycle of anger, hurt, and bitterness. These emotions can often become a heavy burden that prevents us from experiencing joy and fulfillment. When we choose to forgive, we essentially release ourselves from the grip of these negative emotions, which frees up space for healing and personal growth. The surprising part of this move is that forgiveness isn't just about the other person. It's a declaration that you are ready to let go of the past and move into a new phase of your life, one that is defined by emotional clarity and peace. Choosing forgiveness also opens the door to emotional maturity. It requires us to acknowledge the complexity of human relationships and the fact that people make mistakes, including ourselves. Holding on to resentment often stems from an inability to accept imperfection, whether in ourselves or others. By forgiving, we develop a deeper understanding of the human experience and our own vulnerabilities. We recognize that we are not immune to making mistakes, and that sometimes people hurt each other, either intentionally or unintentionally. This realization enables us to approach future interactions with greater empathy, compassion, and emotional intelligence. Forgiveness also plays a significant role in the healing process. After a period of no contact, there is often a lot of emotional baggage that needs to be processed. Holding on to resentment or anger can prevent us from fully healing, as it keeps us emotionally tied to the very person or situation that caused the pain. Forgiving the other person, or even forgiving ourselves for any perceived shortcomings, allows us to release that emotional baggage. The healing process becomes more about moving forward and finding peace within ourselves than about seeking resolution from the other party. It is a personal decision, one that empowers you to take charge of your own emotional well-being. The act of forgiveness also contributes to your overall sense of self-worth. When we choose to let go of bitterness, we are affirming our value and showing ourselves the kindness and compassion we deserve. Holding on to anger or resentment often stems from a belief that the other person's actions somehow diminish our worth. But forgiveness is an acknowledgement that we are deserving of peace, that we do not need to carry the weight of past wrongs in order to prove our worth. By letting go, we send a clear message to ourselves that we are strong enough to overcome adversity, and that our happiness is not contingent upon holding on to past hurts. However, forgiveness does not mean reconciliation or forgetting the hurt. It does not require you to continue the relationship or engage with the person who caused you pain. Forgiveness is simply a personal decision to let go of the negative emotions that have kept you stuck in the past. It is about finding peace within yourself and deciding that you are no longer going to allow past events to control your present or future. The surprising move of embracing forgiveness is that it gives you the freedom to live authentically, unburdened by resentment or anger, and opens the possibility for healing, growth, and new beginnings. Embracing forgiveness after a period of no contact is one of the most transformative and empowering moves you can make. It allows you to release the emotional baggage that holds you back and prevents you from moving forward. By forgiving, you are choosing peace over pain, emotional clarity over bitterness, and freedom over resentment. This move is not about excusing the actions of others, but about reclaiming control of your own emotional well-being. Forgiveness is a powerful act of self-care that enables you to heal, grow, and move forward with greater emotional maturity and strength. Ultimately, choosing forgiveness after no contact is the key to letting go of the past and creating a future filled with peace, clarity, and emotional freedom.